I actually cannot remember the last time I filmed a Q&A video, but it's been a while. So my hesitation with these is that I feel like a lot of the questions I'm getting that are general, I get a lot of very specific questions that are just difficult to cover in a sort of general Q&A video. But a lot of the questions I get, I feel like I've covered before, so I'm apprehensive to do sort of a repetitive video. But I try and sort of gauge, read through as many questions as I can and gauge sort of the direction you guys want me to go with this video. So today it seems to be like frizz, baby hairs, and a couple other topics are important. And it's the middle of summer, so frizz and humidity and all of that makes sense that people are dealing with those issues. So that's what we're going to cover today. So there's one thing I want to tell you. A lot of the questions I get whenever I post on the Facebook fan page a call for questions are on topics that I've already done maybe an entire blog post about. So before you ask it, make sure you search, type in Google, this Google search box, Small Things blog, and then whatever the topic is, if it's dry shampoos or static electricity or anything like that, just type in Small Things blog, static electricity, and anything I've written about that will come up in your Google search page, and then that might be an easier way to find a specific post if you're not able to find it within the search function on the blog. So don't hesitate to ask any questions, but if I'm not able to get back to you with a response, make sure you do a search and see if I have covered it already. Okay, so the question I got over and over is, how do I deal with frizz? How do I battle frizz? Frizz, 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 frizz. So there's I'm gonna kind of talk as much as I can about it. Each person's frizziness is unique to them, so a lot of times frizz might be from a natural wave in the hair, and the little sort of baby hairs or breakage are going their own direction, so it looks like you have sort of this orb of frizzy flyaway hair amongst your existing maybe wavy hair. So frizz could be that, a natural wave pattern that's causing some uneven hairs to stick out. It could be from breakage and dryness, so this could be any texture of hair. And then frizz can also be from like not styling your hair right, so it might not be, which I guess would kind of fall under the damage category, but you can sort of create your hair to be frizzy if you use the wrong products, and that's probably the easiest one to fix. The hardest hair type to fix frizz issues is a naturally sort of wavier, coarse texture. And so let's start with that first one, and then I'll try and get to the third. So if you've got natural frizz, which just means natural flyaways and sort of bends to the hair that are creating these little pieces to stick out, product and styling methods are going to be key. And you're going to have to experiment and try a couple different concoctions of products to see if you can battle it. Usually heavy, creamy products are good for weighing down and controlling the frizz. So look for like a smoothing cream. And then on top of that, if you find like a serum, I like mixing a cream and a serum. Sometimes a cream and a balm are too heavy together, but a cream and a serum are a good mix. And so find two of those products, try, whatever your stylist recommends, or pick up some at the drugstore, or go to Ulta or Sephora and try those. A lot of these places have great return policies. So if it doesn't work for you, return it and try something new. But find the right concoction of those products. You need something with a little bit of weight to hold the hair down. And then the serum is going to help maybe when you're heat styling to keep the frizz from sort of going all over the place. The best way to beat frizz is with a little bit of heat as well. So you're probably not going to have the results you want if you just let your hair air dry. So keep that in mind. Also, the right brush makes a big difference as well. A boar bristle brush, I'll include links to all this stuff at the bottom of this video as well. A boar bristle brush has a lot of bristles. They're really tightly packed together. You know it when you see it. It doesn't have the plastic spaced out. What are those? Tentacles, I don't know. But a boar brush is going to sort of pull your hair the most. So that's a great way to straighten your hair out. Even if you want to leave a little bit of wave in it, as you're blowing it dry, just pull that boar bristle brush through it, and it's going to help pull those frizzy hairs down. So you are going to need a little bit of heat if you want the least amount of frizz possible. a flat iron is a great way to smooth out frizz as well. So make sure you're using some kind of protective heat spray if you're going to be doing a ton of heat work to your hair. But that's the best way to get rid of frizz if you've got that natural wave coarse hair. If you have frizz from dryness, if you've got fine hair, it's difficult to achieve maybe the look you want without weighing your hair down with a smoothing product. If you've got medium hair that just has some dryness, pick up a serum and throw that on your ends or around your face wherever it's frizzy. Serums are light. Even if you have fine hair, serums are the best way to get sort of a smooth, hydrated finish to your ends without adding a ton of weight. And if that doesn't do it, bump up to a balm or a cream. If you are going to use a balm, probably don't mix it with any other products if you're sort of in the fine to normal hair range, because it might be a little bit too heavy. And the same thing, blow dry down. Any blow drying up is going to just activate the frizz and sort of separate your hair. Also, if it's a damage / breakage thing, a haircut probably would be really good as well. And even if you have like that much damage, sometimes, and if you're just not willing to get rid of this much hair, sometimes just a good trim on the ends will make a really big difference in how your hair looks. Lastly, if you have frizz from sort of just baby hairs around your face and breakage from a ponytail or something like that, taking really good care of your hair and being gentle on it, using a deep conditioner every once in a while is a really great idea. Maybe start out twice a month and then go up or down from there based on how that affects the rest of your hair. Find a deep conditioner with a little bit of protein in it. That'll help add some strength and structure to your hair. Just make sure not to go overboard with any protein products, and concentrate it on the areas of hair that need it the most. So a lot of times when we think deep conditioner, we think, mid-shaft to ends. If you've got a bunch of breakage around your face, like I always have a ton of breakage right here just from the way I style, put some conditioner right there or wherever it is on you, so those hairs that are super dry are getting the good nourishment from the conditioner. I get a lot of questions about hormonal hair loss, postpartum hair loss, baby hairs, new growth, all that stuff. Oddly enough, I managed to bypass that with my pregnancy with David. My mom never had issues with her hair, so I kind of, she noticed it didn't really get thicker and it didn't really fall out after she had myself and my siblings. But so I kind of thought maybe that wouldn't happen to me, and I'm glad that it hasn't. I'm really grateful for that because that's a pain in the butt. A lot of people, when they have a postpartum hair loss, it's around their hairline, which is obnoxious. Like, why is it not at the back of our head or like in the middle? Come on. So if you do have that, it's a pain to grow out, but you have to let it grow. An easy fix would be to get bangs for the interim to kind of cover them up for a minute. If you're not willing to do that, think about the way you're blow drying, and you want to go opposite of the way they're winging out. So if you've got a new growth right here that's winging out here, like giving you the little angel wings that people say they have, blow dry it into your face. Make sure you put enough heat on it, and if you don't want to blow dry, just hit it with a flat iron and pull it the opposite direction it wants to go, and that way you'll be able to control it a little bit more. Does that make sense? So if you have something maybe at your ear that's pushing forward, and you tuck your hair behind your ear, but you have this one section of hair, of tiny new growth, that just wants to go forward. Aim it back as you're drying it or flat ironing it, and then that way you're going to have, like I said, more control to put it where you want it to be. So this goes the same if you have a cowlick that's pushing all your hair that way. If you want to have a little bit more control and not let it push everything back, blow dry it the opposite direction. So when it comes to baby hair and new growth, a lot of it wants to go like out because it doesn't have any weight and it's just light and fluffy. So try and blow dry it down. Put a little, maybe not straightening serum, I'd put a little balm, or if there's like a dry wax, something with a little bit of weight to add to it, since you don't have weight from length of the hair, and just try and get it down towards your face. The last tip I would give you that maybe you've heard of before is spraying a toothbrush with a little bit of hairspray and just raking that along your hairline. This is good for if you're wearing your hair in a ponytail. That's going to keep those baby hairs down, and the toothbrush bristles are similar actually to a boar bristle brush. That's the closest I could relate it to. They're going to press all those hairs in, maybe better than your fingers could do. So don't use your regular toothbrush for that because that's gross. But pick a different one and just brush those little baby hairs into the rest of your hair. So I hope that helps when it comes to baby hair. It's really just one of those things you have to grow out, and it's a pain. I know it's a pain. I have friends and had plenty of clients that had to deal with it, and I'm sure a lot of you were hoping it would happen to me so I would figure out some secret way to deal with it, but it didn't. So those are just the tips I can give based on what I've seen work and things that just make sense when you're trying to combat issues with hair. Another subject that was brought up a bit in the questions was greasy hair and how to battle that. So if you have greasy hair, it could be from a number of things. It could be hormonal, it could be a new medication you're taking, it could be a new pregnancy, it could be anything going on in your body that's maybe new and different, and grits is here. And that's going to affect anything you put in your body is going to come out on your hair and will affect it in a different way. So if your hair is greasy, it could be from something new or different going on in your body. It could be from the wrong products. And the best way to sort of deal with that, a lot of times the greasiness comes from over cleansing. And so those oil glands on your scalp are overreacting to being cleaned out too much, and so they're overproducing oil. So it seems counterintuitive, but sometimes washing less and helping those oil glands sort of slow down the production and not overdo it, that might help combat a little bit of greasiness. Using a dry shampoo is going to temporarily absorb some grease, more from the visual end of things. It doesn't necessarily get rid of the grease. It may absorb some of it, but mostly it just makes your hair not look shiny and greasy at the roots. So that is a good product to try as well. Even if you don't want volume in your hair, using a volumizing or clarifying shampoo on a regular basis, if you have a greasy scalp, that's going to be the best cleansing shampoo. Don't use like a hydrating or smoothing or softening or any of those shampoos, because they're going to have a little bit more oil in them than a volumizing or clarifying shampoo. So try that. Probably it's not going to make a monster difference in your hair routine, but you want to do something to sort of clean that oil off but not overdo it. Okay, the last two questions that I saw over and over in the comments were, how do I get my hair to grow faster, and what do I do about my dry, damaged ends? So this is kind of a, these kind of go hand in hand. So there are few ways to get your hair to grow faster, and since everyone's body composition is different, everyone's going to be affected differently by like the biotin pills, or if you go to GNC, I believe they make a pill called Hair, Skin, and Nails. And biotin is the ingredient in that is supposed to help your hair grow a bit, your nails be stronger, and your skin look better. I don't know. Ask the people at GNC. Anyway, biotin will help a little bit, but it's not going to be like, my hair grew 3 inches overnight. Anyway, the best way to get your hair to grow, and I feel like I've covered this before, is to get regular trims and be gentle with it. And if you're just doing a lot of work to it and a lot of heat damage from, you know, blow dryer, curling iron, flat iron, anything, your ends are going to get a little trashed and you're going to have to cut them off. So if you want your hair to grow out, go easy on your hair. You know, experiment with color maybe in a gentle way if you're bored with it and you're just trying to grow it out, because a lot of times growing out your hair means you have like no shape or style, and then it can get really frustrated, so you end up doing a lot with it, and then you end up damaging it a little bit more, and then you have to get more cut off. So baby it. And then if you have super dry, damaged ends, like one of the questions was, even after a haircut, my ends are still really damaged, you're probably not getting enough cut off. But if you aren't willing to lose, you know, let's say for example you need 3 inches of damage cut off, but you're not willing to cut off those 3 inches, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, sometimes just a good ½ inch or inch will make a big difference. But the best thing you can do is use some kind of smoothing serum or cream on those ends to keep them from getting overly dry. And Redken's Anti-Snap is a great product that's hydrating and good for your hair, but it won't add a ton of weight. But you need to use something on your ends. And like I said before, a serum is the lightest product to use for people that don't want any extra weight to their hair. So keep that in mind if you're trying to keep your ends nice and healthy. So the last topic I want to cover is not wanting to heat style your hair. I get a lot of questions from readers about, let's say you don't have time to heat style, but you've washed your hair and you're just letting it air dry. Or you went to bed with it wet and you woke up and it's dry. What do you do with it? So if I know I'm not going to have time to heat, this is just personal, if I know I'm not going to have time to heat style my hair in the morning, that means curl or flat iron or whatever, I won't wash it, and I would rather just kind of pull it back in a bun or messy bun or something for the day, kind of give it a break from the heat. But I won't, my hair gets super limp and lifeless if it's wet and just air dried, and it becomes really hard to deal with, so it's just not worth it to me to do that. But if you are going to go to bed with wet hair, my best advice would be to kind of roll with a natural wave in the morning, and either add like a soft braid in and tuck a little bit to the side, maybe use a flexible or medium hold hairspray and sort of just air crunch your hair a little bit and get a little bit of texture in there. It's probably going to be flat because it was slept on. There's really no way to add volume to it otherwise. If your hair is wet in the morning and you don't have time to heat style, but you have somewhere to be, wearing it back probably is the best way to not make it look like you're running around with a wet head of hair. So again, maybe a braid or some kind of smooth bun is the best way to do that. Don't get in the habit of doing this, because pulling your hair back when it's wet can be kind of damaging, because hair's, I think, 50% more elastic when wet, and so you're going to pull it a lot and it'll be prone to snapping. So honestly, I found a bunch of wet hair tutorials on Pinterest, so just search those, and there's some twists and pinned styles that are really creative and look good for wet hair if it comes down to that's what you need to do. But yeah, if you're gonna sleep on wet hair, I would just roll with, I'm sorry, I'm in a cloud of cat hair here. I would just roll with whatever natural wave you're gonna wake up with, and just go for kind of the boho look that day. Okay, so that is all I'm covering in today's Q&A video. I hope this was helpful. Again, if there's something you have a question about, make sure you check my blog, because I've got a lot of resources on there. I've been blogging for about 3 years, and I would love for you to find an answer to your question in a blog post instead of waiting on maybe it getting picked for one of these Q&A videos. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully get a new hair tutorial up in the next week or so.